You're watching Capital Connection from the Illinois State Capitol.
The early outline of a Republican primary battle is starting to take shape in downstate Illinois. First-term Republican Congresswoman Mary Miller would not tell local media about her plans for 2022, but on the Hill, she did tell a Politico reporter, quote, "I'm running for Congress." So will she run against incumbent Rodney Davis or incumbent Mike Bost? As both Republicans outmatch her in experience by far, she's looking for an edge somehow. So this week, when 51 progressive Democrats unsuccessfully voted to block military funding, Mary Miller joined their ranks with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Jerry Nadler, and Pramila Jayapal and others in the superminority, and drew a dividing line between herself and, quote, Republicans in name only, or RINOs, as she labeled them on Twitter. That list of Republicans she considers frauds, apparently, includes top leaders like Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, Elise Stefanik, and Tom Emmer. Mary Miller called them RINOs. Staunch conservatives like Wyoming's Liz Cheney, Missouri's Vicky Hartzler, and West Virginia's Alex Mooney voted for the Defense Department to help law enforcement stop human trafficking and the flow of illegal drugs. Mary Miller called them RINOs. Military veterans like Jim Banks, Dan Crenshaw, Adam Kinzinger, and Mike Bost voted to give our soldiers a 2.7% pay raise ahead of the holidays, including their roughly 20,000 troops and their family members at the Scott Air Force Base in southern Illinois. Mary Miller called them RINOs. In fact, she said, quote, "I will always oppose radical left-wing policies being rammed through Congress by President Biden." The final vote wasn't close. It was 363 to 70. Most of those yes votes were not radical left-wing members of Congress. They were Republicans. Most of the no votes were actually progressive Democrats. In fact, even far-right pro-Trump members of Congress like Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Devin Nunes, and Jim Jordan all voted yes, in part to deploy National Guardsmen to our southern border. Mary Miller called them RINOs. She bragged in a press release, quote, "I was the only Republican member of the Illinois delegation to vote against the Biden defense authorization." What would force Mary Miller to break ranks and turn on so many members of her own party? January 6th was her fourth day on the job. She's brand new. What would inspire a first-term rookie with enough audacity to declare who is and who is not a Republican? What controversial measure in this bill would prompt her to join ranks with the most far-left Democrats to vote to block military funding? She claimed it was a provision to draft women into the military, but she's either lying or confused. That language was not in the bill they voted on. She'd know that if she had read the media report that she shared on Twitter. The headline reading, quote, "Lawmakers drop proposal to add women to the draft." Miller also protested military vaccine mandates and what she called, quote, "leftist critical race theory equity training." The military, of course, takes its orders from the commander-in-chief, not Congress. And House Republican leaders on the Armed Services Committee who outlined that bill said the new defense spending measure would ban dishonorable discharge for soldiers who refuse the vaccine, and it would allow carve-outs or exemptions for a lot of reasons, administrative, medical, or religious reasons. The bill also requires the Department of Defense to consider whether or not that soldier may already have natural antibodies in addition to any protection that the vaccine might offer itself. When Mary Miller tells you that she voted against vaccine mandates in the military, that's not what she actually voted against. What she voted against were religious or medical exemptions and considerations for soldiers who were previously infected. Traditionally, voting to fund the American military is one of the safest and surest votes that a member of Congress can take. And to be sure, Mary Miller's vote against funding the military was not going to stop it from happening. In fact, the National Defense Authorization Act is the closest thing to automatic that there is on Capitol Hill. Ever since its inception in 1961, it has never once failed. It always finds a way to get the votes. She didn't have a chance at stopping it, but she thinks she has a chance at getting your attention and winning your vote in a battle of a different kind, a primary battle against a member of her own party. We just have to find out which one she wants to pick a fight with. We're back in just a moment.